It's Bristol Night Race Week, everybody, and such a special race deserves a very special episode the week before. Landon Cassill joins the show today. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric, and welcome to Out of the Groove. And this is a very special episode indeed. Earlier this week, I had the pleasure of getting to speak with Landon Cassill, Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series driver for Starcom Racing. Got to ask him some questions, got some kind of interesting answers, I think, on a few of them. Really cool of him to take time out of his very busy schedule to chat with us here on Out of the Groove on this show, chat with all of you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview. I won't waste y'all's time. Let's go now to my very recent interview with Landon Cassill. Welcome, everyone. Glad you all could join us this morning. I am joined today. I'm very honored to be joined by the driver of the number 00 for Starcom Racing, Landon Cassill, live from the shop floor. How's it going today, man?
Going great. We got some race cars getting ready in the background here. We're going to Bristol, one of my favorite racetracks. I love short track racing, so we'll have Permatex on the car for the night race, so it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited. It'll be my first time there in person, actually, for any Bristol race, but I'm excited it's the night race. I feel like you got to go big or go home, you know, if you're going to finally make it out to Bristol. Got to go to the big one.
Bristol's a bucket list race for a lot of people, so it's not a bad place to make your first start for sure.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. But so talking about you a little bit, you're in your second year now with Starcom. How do you feel about the team's performance this season? I know you got to be careful what you say because people are all around you right now working really hard.
Yeah, I mean, really for us, it's all about progress. I mean, this is a team that started from scratch by Derek Cope as the general manager. A group of owners from New Jersey, that own a company called Starcom Fiber, hired Derek to build this thing from the ground up. So it's a challenging way to start a race team. This is a tough business. I mean, you know, there's sometimes a lot of different ways to start a race team, but these folks really put a lot of equity into this thing, and they're starting to see it organize as an organization after 2 years. We've got a nice new building, as you can see here, in Salisbury, North Carolina. We've got about 20 people working for us, and you know, we own all of our own cars, we own engines, we own a lot of our own equipment, so we're a pretty self-sufficient organization, which is going to set us up well for the long term in this sport as the landscape kind of changes.
Definitely. So talking about you a little bit specifically, going back to the very beginning, I know you started racing a long time ago and you raced for a lot of different teams, but tell me a little bit about how you got your start in racing and what eventually drew you to stock cars.
Really just my age when I was growing up in Iowa, I was too young to race on dirt. After I had graduated out of go-kart racing and race Legends cars, I was still too young to race open-wheel modifieds or sprint cars on dirt. You had to be 16 to do that. So we started racing on asphalt at Hawkeye Down Speedway in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, because the asphalt track was going to allow me to race at the age of 14. And then there was a touring late model series called the ASA Late Model Series that was allowing 14-year-olds to race. And that was a series that toured all over the country. So I started asphalt late model racing and went from there. And fortunately, between the ages of 14 and 17, there was a lot of demand for young drivers, and the manufacturers were investing a lot of money in young drivers. So I was able to sign a contract with Hendrick Motorsports when I was 17 years old, and I was Jimmy Johnson's test driver for 5 years after that. So that was really my first chunk into being a professional race car driver. And during those 5 years that I worked for Hendrick, I also raced in the Xfinity Series and started racing in the Cup Series for small race teams around 2010. And that's what got me the seat time and built the value that in me as a driver to start working for teams full time.
Yeah. So I want to ask you some more broad kind of just 2019 NASCAR questions. There's a lot of talk about schedule changes going around. Like next year, I know they're making some big changes. If you were king of NASCAR for a day, what would be the first change you'd make to the NASCAR schedule?
To the NASCAR schedule? Man, I don't know. I mean, there's so many components to that. I think that NASCAR is really on the right track. I mean, I think they're doing a good job. You know, Ben Kennedy is kind of heading up the schedule right now for NASCAR, and he worked really hard to put together the 2020, and he's been working really hard on the 2021 schedule for NASCAR, and I think they've done a phenomenal job. I mean, we've got some really exciting stuff coming up, like the doubleheader in Pocono next summer. Basically, both of our races are going to be on Saturday and Sunday, so we will only be going to Pocono once next year, as opposed to where we usually go there twice. I'm looking forward to that because I think that will be something that could be replicated over the course of the season. I think that running some midweek shows could be fun. I think that having a high congestion of races in the summer months could be fun. Having a race on Sunday and then another one Wednesday and then another one on Saturday and then taking 2 weeks off could be fun. Those are challenging for the teams, but it could be something that keeps a lot of racing going on and a lot of content during those summer months, and getting the season wrapped up before football season starts would be smart. I think that I think it's important to have a lot of races on the schedule. I'm not a huge proponent of cutting the season down to 20-some races. I think that revenue is important for the race teams to have a lot of races, keep the prize money coming in, keep a lot of opportunities for sponsors. Because I think that the racing is good whether we have 30 races or 60 races. So if I could, I would race 60 times a year, but I do like the schedule being more condensed. So it would be nice to see a really busy summer schedule, and then maybe by the end of the summer wrapping up the season.
Yeah, a lot of cool ideas there. What is your favorite track currently on the NASCAR schedule, if you had to pick just one?
My favorite track, I try not to pick favorites too much, but Bristol really is up there. I know we're going there this weekend, but Bristol's up there as one of my favorites. I'll tell you what, I think that Daytona International Speedway is probably one of the best racetracks on earth. Like, period. It's just the Daytona 500 is a great race. It never disappoints. That track is a lot of fun when it's dark and cool and there's a lot of grip, and it's a lot of fun when the cars slide around and you have to chase it. It's fast, it's narrow, it's dangerous. So Daytona is definitely probably top of the list.
Yeah, those are two great ones for sure. I've heard some drivers recently talk about how they feel like the racing this year, people are just more aggressive, especially like early in the race. There's less give than there used to be. I want to get your opinion on this. From your perspective, do you feel like drivers this year have been racing more aggressively? Why do you think that maybe is?
I think it's really hard to pass, especially on long runs. I mean, if you're the same speed as someone on a long run, which it seems to be that the cars really even out on a long run, it just makes it really hard to pass. So a lot of people feel like they have to be extra aggressive on restarts. Also, the cars create a lot of drag. They create a big wake. So when two cars get side by side, the effect of both of them slowing down is even more than maybe our previous aero packages, which opens up the opportunity for the cars behind them to maybe make a 3-wide move or even a 4-wide move. And in places like Pocono and Michigan, you see people going 5 wide, just totally fanning out because they're just trying to clear that whole group of cars. So that creates a lot of aggression. I think that one thing that holds back driver aggression right now is that our bodies and our fenders on our cars are really sensitive to aero. So if you get any damage on your fenders and your wheel wells, it really affects your performance in a negative way. And it can also damage the tire and cause cut tires. So when NASCAR transitions from a steel body to a composite body in the next couple of years, that'll make the cars way more durable. It'll make it easier to bounce off of each other and to lean the car against the wall or something like that. So I can see that aggression continuing to increase over the next couple of years.
Well, that would certainly be interesting. Now, a lot of fans probably know you have a very strong social media presence. I know most of the young drivers have kind of grown up with and bought into the idea that social media is important to growing a brand and everything. But for you personally, how important is social media to growing your career?
It's social media is great. I mean, I enjoy it. I probably spend too much time on it, like a lot of people do. I'm a child. I always say I'm a child of the internet. Yeah, I just grew up with it, so I'm not really doing anything special. I'm not doing anything, too intentional. I'm just doing what I would do regardless of if I was a race car driver or not. I would be active on social media. I like to see what's going on. It's where I get my news. It's where I get a lot of my entertainment, and I like to react to a lot of those things on my timeline. So you'll find that my social media is pretty just authentic me, and I run all my own accounts, and you'll be able to find a pretty good timeline of what's going on in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely encourage everyone to go follow you, especially on Twitter. Do you notice that some drivers, specifically older drivers, are more reluctant to buy into it, or do you feel like feel like more people are coming around? Because I feel like it's really important for drivers in this day and age to connect as best they can with people on social media.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously the older guys, the older generations that aren't used to the internet or aren't used to using their devices, maybe reluctant to using social media to their advantage. But I guess if people just have to understand, if you have a message to send, if you have an interesting story, that's the best way to get your message out there right now. So it's you can make good content and package whatever it is that you're trying to tell people. Social media has the ability to scale out to millions and millions of people and just in one post. So, and that works in a positive and a negative way. I mean, that's why you have to be smart about how you use social media. You have to be smart about how you interact with people on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah. So looking ahead to Bristol this upcoming weekend, I'll be there. Like I said, it's my first time. I'm super excited if I haven't made that clear enough. But what challenges does that track present that make it unique from any other track on the schedule?
For Bristol, it's. I mean, the surface is different. It's concrete. It's not asphalt. It's banked a ton more than most of the tracks we go to. The only other tracks that are banked like Bristol are Talladega and Daytona. And really, I mean, obviously it's really small. So when you go there, you're going to feel like you're in a stadium or a coliseum. They call it the last great coliseum. One of the greatest things about Bristol nowadays, though, is the way the track operations applies a traction compound to the surface of the racetrack, and they apply it in the bottom groove of the track, and then the cars will kind of fight for that bottom groove on an early part of a run, but then they'll move their way up, and it creates a lot of options for passing and preferred lanes. So it's a track where there's just action on every corner of every lap, even when people aren't fighting for position. If it's a car that's lapping another car, it's difficult to pass, and you have to use a lot of aggression to pass somebody. So it's really nonstop action, and as a fan, you could probably watch an entire 500 lap race in Bristol without sitting down in your seat.
Yeah, that's what I've been told at least. So that's one of the reasons I'm very excited to be there in person. And I know you also, you and your sponsor, you have a cool opportunity there as well. Can you tell the people a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Permitex is a company that's been in motorsports for a long time, and we were really proud to bring them back onto a full paint out of our car into NASCAR at the Daytona 500 this year. So they're back on our car in Bristol. I'm doing some appearances for them as well. I'm going to be at AutoZone in Bristol the morning of the night race on Saturday from 11 to 12. So I'm signing autographs. I think there's some giveaways for the first 100 people that come. So it's really cool to kind of tie in not just Permitex, the brand, but also AutoZone, an outlet, a retailer, to place to go get your Permitex. So for any car people or anybody that's working on their own stuff, what Permitex is. But really just come see me and hang out, get some autographs, and get a picture the morning of the race. I'll probably be sleeping in and getting up at 11 so I can be rested for the race.
Sounds good. Well, hopefully a lot of people take advantage of that. That sounds awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to chat with us here. And good luck this weekend. Good luck with the rest of your season, man.
You got it, man. Thank you.
And that's going to do it. This is a very crazy week for me leading up to the Bristol night race, which I will be in attendance for. I'm going to be part of a very special meetup the day of the race. Check out all my social medias for details there. Location, time, all that stuff. Follow me on Twitter. If you're going to be at the Bristol night race, get to the track early so you have the chance to meet me, some of the other NASCAR YouTubers you might have seen on this channel before. It's going to be super awesome. I'm hopefully going to see a whole bunch of you guys, take pictures, talk about whatever. It's going to be a really fun time. So hope to see a bunch of you guys there. But yeah, this is a very busy week for me. I'm going to be traveling to Charlotte, filming some stuff there. Hopefully going to get to go tour the NASCAR Hall of Fame for the first time ever. I've never been there. Hopefully get to share that with you guys very soon. So there's a lot of exciting stuff coming on this channel. Today's episode with Landon Cassill was just the start. So once again, big thank you to Landon Cassill. Go follow him everywhere. He deserves a ton of support. Thanks again to him for coming on the show. That's gonna do it though. Thank you guys as always for watching. I already shouted out my Twitter, my Instagram. Follow me over there so you don't miss a thing. And a big thank you, of course, to my Patreon supporters: Michael Harrison, at You As The Stars, Mentally Effective, Cameron James, John Coleman, Jason Arlong, Wesley Donaldson, Isaac Denson, Mika Suzuki, iFantasyRace.com, TheRacingInsiders.com, Matthew Koulopoulos, Pepe Luscious, Joey DiMicino, Jeremy Conkling, Emilio Garcia, Sky Racing Forums, Bryce Schumacher, and the rest of these incredible Patreon supporters. Truly incredible. I couldn't do this without the support I get from each and every single one of you, and I love it that this list continues to grow. It means so much to me that so many of you believe in what I'm trying to do over here. And with some of these trips coming up, it's really wouldn't be possible for me to do those things without the support I get from you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy the content that's going to be coming soon on this channel the next few days, couple weeks, because it's largely thanks to you guys here on Patreon. But yeah, that's going to do it, y'all. I should have at least one more episode up later this week before the Bristol night race. Maybe do like a preview episode of sorts. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. I'm really hyped. I've never been to Bristol before. I figured I had to go to the night race, man, and do it up big. So it's going to be great. Hope to see a bunch of you guys there, and I'll see y'all again very, very soon. Thank you again for watching. Appreciate it, y'all.